So first, a little bit about me. I'm originally from Wisconsin. I moved to Frisco in 2010. I went to the University of Wisconsin and I have my bachelor's degree in child development and family studies. And then I have my Texas certifications in English language arts and reading, grades 4 through 8. I have an EC6 generalist and a English as a second language certification. I really enjoy spending time with my family, my pets, reading, writing, running, when I have time, and traveling. So this year in ILA, we'll be following the My Perspectives curriculum, which is designed by Pearson. And you might hear your students talk about their online textbook being called Savas. A couple years ago, they changed the name from Pearson to Savas, but it basically means the same thing. At the end of each one of our units, students will complete a performance-based assessment that will test the knowledge and skills that we covered in that unit. So just a brief overview of our units. Unit 1, which we just started this week, is Crossing Generations. Our essential question for Unit 1 is, what can one generation learn from another? And at the end of Unit 1, students will be creating their own digital memoir based on a time where they themselves learned something important from somebody who's older than them. They'll reflect on the experience, they'll describe what they learned, and then they'll put that into some type of digital presentation. So if they're talking to you about lessons learned, character traits, things like honesty, trust, loyalty, perseverance, grit, stuff like that, they're probably tossing out ideas for Unit 1, because we talk a lot about character traits and a lot about lessons that we've learned. In Unit 2, we talk all about overcoming obstacles. Our essential question is, how do we overcome adversity? And our PBA for Unit 2 is writing an informational essay. So this is kind of the nitty-gritty of ILA. We do a lot of reading of informational or expository text, and we do a lot of practicing writing, where we make assertions and we find evidence and we explain our evidence, and we get really good at diving deep into what our examples are and how we can explain them best in our writing. So we move from kind of a memoir narrative focus in Unit 1 to a very kind of academic business-like focus in Unit 2. At the end of the unit, students write an expository essay. Unit 3 is our literary analysis unit, and the topic for Unit 3 is transformations. Our essential question is, can people really change, and what can people learn from change? At the end of Unit 3, students create an analytical product where they read and analyze a theme in literature, whether that be from a literature circle, from a book club, and they take on the role of the author, where they create an analytical product that analyzes the theme in what they read and how it applies to the lives of teens today. So how is literature reflective of real life? And this kind of lets us dig really deep into some of those big real life questions, and we get to really look at how literature reflects life and how it influences our lives also. I love Unit 3, it's my favorite. But I love to read, so. Unit 4 is our persuasive unit, and the topic for Unit 4 is imagining the future. The kids love this one. This is their favorite one. They love to talk about whether or not humanity's future should lie among the stars. Our essential question, is space exploration important? It's a hot topic, believe it or not, and they have some pretty strong opinions on it. So in Unit 4, we look at reasons for space exploration, reasons against space exploration, and at the end of Unit 4, students create a public service announcement where they develop their position and they find evidence and examples to back it up. So Unit 4 is all about persuading people to agree with us, which they're actually really good at. There's some really good negotiators in class this year. The instructional model that My Perspectives follows, each unit follows kind of the same trajectory. So we start out with a unit introduction, which we just did. We start with a mentor text that kind of guides our learning and our focus for each unit. We start out with whole class learning. Then we move to some peer group or small group learning. Then students get some choice and voice in their learning, where we move to independent learning. And then finally we get ready for those performance-based assessment. And then at the end of each unit we do a reflection. You can see in the yellow star right there, it says blended learning. So what that means is we combine face-to-face, we do live instruction, we do technology, we do videos, we do all kinds of stuff, kind of all happening at once. And this year we're kind of adding another layer to it where we're workshopping a lot of our skills. So it's kind of like tinker time. I like to tell the kids, like, we're going to tinker with our grammar, or we're going to dig into our grammar toolbox, and we're going to kind of layer these things on top of each other so we can see how grammar connects to writing, how our writing can reflect what we read, and how what we read can help us kind of expand our knowledge, expand our horizons. So that's the instructional model for My Perspectives, kind of follows that same pattern through each unit. We do a lot of our work in what we call a day book. So we have 4 sections of our day book: an SSR section, a reading notes section, writing and thoughts, and then our personal dictionary. And we've already gotten a great start with Unit 1, filling in, doing some SSR entries, some writing and thoughts. We've been doing a lot of sharing, a lot of talking, a lot of good stories are starting to come out, personal experiences, some new vocab we've already looked at for Unit 1. So the students are well on their way to working in their composition book or their day book. Each day we do silent sustained readings. You might hear them talk about SSR time, and that's a time for them to read independently in self-selected texts. We want them to grow their reading skills, and the only way to do that is to read what they're interested in. So they're reading a wide range of stuff, self-selected, to spark their interest. And the good thing is most of these skills, no matter what we're reading, we can apply them to everything. So that I've got that bullet list of skills there. At the end of SSR time every day, we do have some class discussion, whether that's with a partner, small group, or whole class. And students demonstrate their understanding and make connections through their daybook entries, discussion, and I cut my slide off down there at the end, but that should say, and some small projects, no major grades or anything like that, but some small in-class projects where they can demonstrate how what they're reading during independent reading time connects to each one of our units. Our grades are standards-based, and they're intended to reflect a student's current or highest level of mastery over each standard. So when you look in HACC, you might see, instead of an activity or a project as the assignment, you might see a learning standard. And that's because we're really particular about how we're measuring their growth and how we're assessing whether or not they're mastering those skills. So share with your student that if they give 100% effort on each learning task, then their grade in HACC will accurately reflect their current or highest level of understanding. They love to ask, is this for a grade? Is this for a grade? And I like to say, this is for your learning. And so if you're giving 100% effort, then you can be sure that when we do get to those graded assignments, that you will be able to show your highest level of mastery, which is what we're looking for. Our Pride Time format, Monday through Friday from about 1:30 to 2:15, and that's where we do our extension and support. Wednesdays are our pullout days for ILA, so if your student is asked to come to a Wednesday Pride Time, that means we're either extending their learning, we've seen they're ready for more, or we've seen they need some additional support, and that'll be communicated to them by me. Via you. I'll be probably sending some emails when that situation comes up. Please feel free to contact me. My email is there, valleyh@friscoisd.org. Email's the best way to get a hold of me. Our phones ring during the day, and sometimes we're so busy we don't have time to get to them. So send me an email if you have any questions. There's our social media for Pioneer. And finally, I am looking forward to a great memory-making year. I'm again so sorry I couldn't be here to meet you all tonight, but I hope at some point we get to meet in the future, and keep encouraging your kids. They're a great group and they've already been working so hard. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.